Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today I want to show you a payment system that I designed. This is for Maizuma's third challenge, and at the time of filming the results of the challenge have not been released yet, but I am filming a couple of months after the contest started. I did make this design in time for the contest. I just didn't get around to making a video about it, so I'm doing it right now. So the idea of the payment system was that you could have an X to Y trade, and that means that you pay an X number of items and you get a Y number of items. So for example, right now I have set it up to be a one-to-one trade. So if I put in 1 emerald, I will get 1 diamond. But that's not a very fair trade, is it? So I'll just explain a bit how this works, and then I'll show you how to build this. So the way this design works is there are 3 separate containers. There is this trap chest right here. It says payment, so you put in your payment in this trap chest. Your change will be left in this hopper. So for example, if there is a trade that says 3 emeralds and you will get 5 diamonds, and you put in 4 emeralds, you will of course get your 5 diamonds, but you will also get your change, your 1 spare emerald. And yeah, the purchase items will be left in this double chest right here. And this lamp will indicate when the system is done processing the payment. So if you put in many items, it'll take a lot of time for the system to process that payment. But when it's done checking the payment and checking how many items it needs to give you, the light will turn on, and then you can wait for all the purchase items to flow in. So I'm just going to explain how to set it up. So you have a 4-way hopper clock right here, and there is 1 item in this hopper, and that is going to be the number of items that need to be paid for the trade. So for example, I can change this to this is now 11 items, and then I can change this. This is also a hopper clock. This is the number of items that you will receive when you use the system, and I'll change this to 5. So now if I put in 16 emeralds, I should see the system working, and then it will give me 5 diamonds if everything is going to be alright. So apparently the system is done checking the payment, so I can grab my 5 emeralds change. That is correct. And then I think it's also done giving me the diamonds. So there you go. So it's very easy to set up, and it's also very, very small. It does not use the same layout as the system that Maizuma showed in his video. His video was, he showed it a layout that was like tileable with 1 layer in between. So you would have your next chest right here, and then the next one here, and then here. But of course this design is not tileable like that. You need at least a layer of air in between here, so then the next chest would be here. And also he said that the ideal system would use only 1 container, but I decided to just try to make it as small as I could. And yeah, I obviously used 3 separate containers, because that makes it a lot easier. Alright, so let's start building this thing. So I already put down these 3 containers, so this is where your output is, where the purchased items will go. This is where the payment has to be entered, and this is where the change will be left. And then you can just continue this hopper chain right here, just like this, and you can place a chest or double chest, whatever, right here, and that is where all the payments are gonna go, so you can collect them later. And then you can get started with the orange circuit, which will detect whether there is any payment in this chest with a comparator. And then you need a slab of some sorts, and it has to be a slab because there's going to be a piston down there and we do not want to butt it. So, and then a torch, and that torch will lock another comparator that we will place in a second. And also you can place your lamp, a lamp right here. So whenever someone places items in this chest, the comparator will detect it. It will unlock a comparator right there, which will start the whole cycle, and it will also depower this lamp, so that will indicate that it is processing. And whenever this chest is empty, that means it's done processing the payment, and this comparator will turn off, of course, and the power will turn off, indicating that it is done. So let's continue to the cyan circuit. So for the cyan circuit we have a hopper clock. So we have 4 hoppers, and they're going from this hopper right here into this one, then into that one, then into this one. And under this torch here, that hopper, you can place any amount of items that is going to be the number of items that need to be paid. And then we're gonna make sure that no items will flow back into this hopper before the payment is sent through to this chest. And that may not make any sense right now, but I'll explain it. So what happens is items will flow from this chest into this hopper. This hopper is locked by this comparator, so the items will stay in this hopper. This comparator will detect it, unlocking this clock, and all the items will flow out. When all the items have flowed out, that means also that this number of items will be in this hopper. And then this comparator will turn off, thereby locking this hopper. So now this hopper contains exactly the number of items that need to be paid, and it will not suck up any more items from the chest. So, and that also unlocks this hopper, so that one will now take out all the items from that hopper and put it into this chest. And then once this hopper is empty again, it will stop the clock, and then it will start over again. So that is what the cyan circuit does. And then we can continue to the blue circuits, but first you need to set this comparator to subtract mode, and that is just to make sure that it will always turn off when this torch turns on, because if it's not on subtract mode, it's technically possible to fill up this hopper completely, and then the comparator will not turn off and the system will break. So you need that comparator to be on subtract mode. Also, this comparator needs to be on top of an observer, just like that, and then you can place a couple more observers like this, and then a piston, sticky piston right here with another observer, a block, and then two droppers facing into each other like this. Then you're gonna need another comparator. Let's just steal one from there, and that is going to depower this torch. And there's going to be another hopper clock, and this one is going to be something that is known as an Etho hopper clock, because Etho was the first person to construct this kind of clock. So there will also be a comparator outputting from this hopper, and that will power a sticky piston right here, and this hopper will contain the number of items that the player will get from the trade. So, and okay, let's just continue here. So we're gonna have another comparator output here that is going to butt this dropper, so we need to update it with, for example, a powered rail, and also we need that line to power this piston, so we're gonna do that through this repeater. And then to send all the items into this double chest, we're gonna have a hopper right here, and then you can fill in some more stock by just adding another double chest and some more hoppers like this. And this is where all the purchase items will go. So the way the blue circuit works is every time the cyan circuit says, okay, there is enough payment here for one trade, it will send a pulse to this dropper. This dropper will have to be filled with stackable items, and as long as there is an item in this dropper, this comparator will unlock this Etho hopper clock, and this hopper clock will just count down this number of items. So every time this clock finishes one cycle, it will have released this number of items from this hopper for the trade. So for example, if the cost of the trade is 5 items and you put in 10 items, then this line here will pulse this dropper twice, and then also this hopper clock will cycle twice, so it will give you 10 items twice, so it will give you 20 items in total. I hope that made sense. And that is basically the whole circuit. So then you can fancy it up a little bit, like this. And I'm gonna give it a little test run. So I'm gonna put in 24 items. So I should see 40 diamonds pop into this chest, and then 4 items left in that dropper, if I did the math right. So as you can see, it's still processing. So you can see how this works. This line gets powered twice, so that's why I made it just a sticky piston with an observer block. So it will power this dropper only once every 2 pulses. And the system is done, so we'll see 4 emeralds change, that is correct, and then 40 diamonds, so indeed it works. So yeah, that is my entry to the challenge. I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope you find this contraption useful, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.